I was fixing my hair. Uh, y'all got jokes over there in the comment section. Steve's mic is not wanting to cooperate with him tonight, so it's taking him a minute to get it fixed. But hopefully he will. Hopefully he'll get it working out here in just a second. He'll get it working. He's got them gremlins again. Uh, yeah, it should be live now. I don't know what's going on there. What's up, Jack? Brian? Hey, Brian. Glad to see you there with us today, sir. My button's working. No, my buttons ain't working. Might fix that. Brian, let's see who else we got here. Chris, welcome. Good day, and there. Well, hello, Victor, Northern Michigan. All right, let's see if it's working now. Man, my sound effects ain't working, I don't guess. No, Brian, like I said, it's not me. It is Steve's having a little issues with his microphone. Let's see. Happy Sunday. Yes, sir. Hello, Don, E.T., Steven. My goodness. We're getting guys where there's a lot of people in here. It's hard for me to keep up. Robert, Keith, Sharon. Hello, Miss Sharon. Uh, Mike Williamson, Mark, Brian again. Brian's all up in the comments. Coastal Mississippi. Let's see what we got going on here. Why is my sounds not working? That's gonna be annoying. Not be able to give Brian his sound effects. Oh, no wonder somebody pushed out an update. Ah, don't you love it when people push out updates? Let's see if that works. Oh, ready for you, Brian. I'm ready for you, bro. Steve, talk to me, bud. Okay, Steve is still having mic problems. Uh, Brian, if yours is. Oh, Steve, I heard a little static just then. Mm-mm. Uh, well, I'm doing a little stainless steel burns over there. I've been working on doing some testing with that machine on stainless. Oh, I heard a little bit of static that time too. I don't know what that is, Steve, but you're close to the root of the problem. No, Brent, I have not. Uh, Sam, it's starting to get cooler since the weather came through. Hello, Robert from Definiac Springs, Florida. Oh, looks like it's through. Let me go check this out. I've been doing some testing. I've been playing around with stainless the past few days. Still not hearing nothing, Steve. Yeah, ET, you can import files into their software, but to me, that's not gonna that's that's not running a G code's not what I want from it. I want to be able to like use the camera to do alignment and stuff like that. But yeah, I saw where Rich had that. I thought he'd figured out something I hadn't, but he's using he's exporting the G code and then re-importing it. So, I mean, if you know if that's how you want to do it, that works great. What's up, Rob? Texas. But no, I've been doing some more playing with stainless. So just this roller, you can actually. Oh wait, I hear something. It's got a lot of noise in it, but I hear it.
Uh-huh.
Yep, better.
Let me
You
try
lost
one other thing.
you lost the noise. Sounds good now. Sounds good right now. But as Steve was getting a little frustrated with his microphone, I ain't gonna lie, guys. I kept waiting to see him throw some stuff. You killed it again.
All right, we'll go with this set.
That works.
All right. I have no idea why these others stopped working.
No telling. No telling. Let's see. I'm trying to get caught back up. I got a little behind. Bill, I appreciate it. I just did another photo. I've been working on all kinds of stuff today, guys. I have had all these little guys in here working. Uh, Steve doesn't have the Ender 3KE either. I can vouch for that because if he had it, he would have been emailing me or texting me telling me he had a new toy. So I know what Steve has and what he doesn't. Steve, I want to know, did you get new lighting?
Did I get new lighting? No, I was messing with my. I was messing around with the webcam settings, and I believe they reset. So
Yeah, I tried. I tried to. It looks like I'm washed out on my preview screen, but I tried to adjust mine so that I wouldn't be as dark in here as what everybody thinks I am usually.
sure. Oh, anyway, well, now I
Well,
have
what's
a new
going on
audio.
over there? You
I
staying
don't know.
warm? You staying warm with your little fireplaces?
Yeah. Okay. I need. Yeah. Speaking of, I should turn that on. So now that I had this hassle of audio issues, why I don't know, but
Brian, Brian said.
um,
Brian said, judging by the look of the video, I look warm and you look cold. That's probably about the truth of it. C's got his
there you go.
fireplace with him. Oh,
Yeah, no, it got a little cold here. It was kind of nice. I mean, it was in the mid 50s earlier this week, and I even, I mean, there's no snow on the ground. I took the chance to clean the gutters one more time before tucking the ladder away for winter. But yeah, got out here past couple days, cranked out video on the little fireplace. Of course, I have my adaptive lighting is thinking it's super dark in here, so I got to turn that off. But this is something I've been meaning to do for a little while. Finally, just took the time to do it, and it's just a little cutout, holds most of your typical cell phones, and this is in 3mm. I also threw it together for 1/4 inch material and put those files out on my Etsy shop. But it does allow you to, if I can get my display to not dim on me here, basically put your phone in there and there we go, have a little fireplace going. So it basically just drops in like this. That holds it in, and you bring up your favorite YouTube fireplace channel, and you drain your phone battery so no one can call you. So perfect.
Ooh. Yeah, Brandy actually liked it. She said it was neat, and but I told her you're a nerd. You're just a nerd with the fireplace. That's all I got. That's all I can say.
Well,
What is this?
got to have some fun every now and then.
I think it's coming through my headset. I keep hearing something bumping, and I keep thinking my laser's over here going crazy. I'm cutting out ink dens. Been cutting out ink dens all day.
I bet. Yeah. So how long is it going to take you to do that next batch of 50?
I don't know. I got that. You see that stack over there beside the We Create? I got them cut today. They said it is you bumping. I thought it was my laser. I kept looking over and panicking because it sounded like the Acer was trying to go out the other end of the box on me or something.
It may be this microphone. Like if I It
Yeah,
might
that's
be
it.
picking up.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Well, I'll try not to do this too much.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Alright, I'll just slide back. But
I thought I, I thought the Acer was fixing to just like sling a rod over here or something. But it's been running all day. I need to stop it and clean it. But I figured I'd just clean it tomorrow before I start again. Because once this one finishes, I'm done for the day. But it's a
sure.
pretty elaborate burn. Matter of fact, let me get my thing over here. Like, I fill up the workspace with this design. So there it is right there. And there is very little scrap once I get these things cut. So, and
That's pretty good.
as you can see, it's at 99. Oh, it's at 99%. It's almost done. So, but it's about 30 minutes to cut all that out. But I go extra slow because I just don't want to have to be messing with these snags, and I
Yeah.
like for them to drop clean and make it for a tight fit and everything. Whew.
Well, and especially for a project like that, where the edges are going to be seen. Anytime you have any of those snags and you cut them, now it's a clean spot instead of a nice even burn. So
Yep.
it's nice to have that. Yeah, sometimes you got to slow it down just a little bit to make sure everything comes out well. So, but
Yeah, which I think I'm still running. I don't remember what speed I got it set to. I'm still running at 7. Usually I can run 8 or 9 with this machine, but I slowed it down to 7. I'm just like just to be sure, because there are glue pockets and knots, and it doesn't really matter on some of the sub layers. But anyway, yeah, it's been a busy day. I got to show y'all a couple of my projects, guys. Hang on, I've been working on some stuff. I got them laid out over here for you. All right, first off, this was a bit of a pain. I just want to throw that out there. That was a little bit of a pain, but I did it. I got it done. I I will be putting a video together on how I did this, and I cheated a little bit, guys, because I was gonna go current position and try to stay inside here, but I was like, that's gonna go really slow. I'm gonna have to run the power way down, and it's gonna be like a 6-hour burn. So this is actually a false bottom. I measured it, and the bottom of this thing was made out of basswood. So I had some basswood, and I made me a false bottom to go in it to
hmm,
to fix it up. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's still a little tacky. I might need to put it back over here. And while I was working on all my other projects, y'all may remember I had to clean my kiln out this week, and I found some oak, and you won't like this oak, Steve. I mean, look how straight that grain is. You would not like this oak. But anyway,
I'm generally not a fan of oak, but
but anyway, this is a tree. Anybody from Chilton County or from my area is familiar with where our new Eliano's coffee shop got built. They were throwing this tree in a dumpster, and I came by and saw it, and so I rescued it. This is a rescued tree, and sawmilled it up, and it's been in the kiln now for months. But I got a piece of it out. Now you may like this. I got a piece of it out, fired up the old Genmitsu, and I have created myself a wooden skillet.
a wooden skillet.
That's what I'm calling it. But it's actually, Brandy says it makes a really good pot holder for like if you're setting it on the
Yeah,
table or setting it on
I was gonna say
whatever.
I was thinking it was more like a trivet kind of thing.
Yeah, and she's got these like little glass domes that fit in here and stuff. So,
Oh, nice.
you could put like cheese or, I don't know, biscuits or something in there, I guess. But yeah, that is nothing on that, Steve, except for mineral oil. I wiped it down with mineral oil. So there you go.
Nah, it looks okay. It's just oak was. Uh, there's a lot of hardwoods up here like that, and oak's one of the big ones, and it's just overused in everything up here. So,
Yeah,
it's not my cup of tea.
This is red oak, though, man. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Dale, she released it a while back. She did like a full-blown commercial. So you should be able to go to Mamay's channel and just look for it.
Yeah. It was about a week and a half ago, I think. Right?
Yeah. IG creates. Which project are you talking about? What machine am I using? Because I've run one, two, three, four. I've run 4 different machines today. Because I'm not the type to where I do every job on one machine. Uh, I use whichever machine is best for the job. Right now, over here, matter of fact, it's finished. Hang on a second.
All right, I'm trying to lower my audio settings a little bit, so hopefully they're balanced out a little better. So
Well, I was gonna crank mine up, but I figured I'd wind up blowing somebody's speakers out. Uh, I can crank it up, but y'all may regret it because I'm running the same settings I always run. I haven't changed anything, haven't unplugged anything. It's just like it always is.
yeah, this
But
is this is the first time this mic's been plugged into this computer. Let me just see if I can bump it down just a little bit more on my end. So
now you got this little. I got this little gauge up here inside the software we can use if you need to. That might be
yeah,
the easiest way.
I've already brought that down a little bit. I mean, it's mine. Yours is at 100. Mine's at 52. So
Yeah, it sounds fine on my end. I don't know everybody else. It may be it just may be the sharpness of that mic too. It's a little sharper than
mhm.
usually.
Well, well, you and I have talked about this, the moving stuff around for things, and I'm awfully close to probably just putting a static computer in this location since I've been playing with it for 3 4 weeks now. I'm thinking I'm kind of liking it here, and that will that will help not having things
Yeah.
bounce around so much.
Oh yeah, all of my gremlins. Once I went with a fixed setup, my gremlins went away. Like I don't have gremlins anymore. So, and that's anytime you're powering down, unplugging, replugging, it creates issues. So, but yeah, what's up, Ralph? Columbus, Mississippi. Brian, yeah, I guess it would be a mini charcuterie board. I told Brandy I really want to do one that's like 24 inches, but my current CNC will only let me do 16.
Should get a bigger one.
That's what I've been saying. So right now that one, I can do it a little bit bigger than that one, but yeah, that was I just got it going while I was playing over here, and it turned out pretty well. I was actually surprised. Now
That's cool.
I had like three bit changes, and I'm terrible at bit changes. I always seem to misalign something.
Um, well, I mean, as long as you jog it with the controls, and you've got that. It's got the Z probe, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
So I
Z's not
mean,
the Z's not the problem. It just seems like I always wind up moving it a millimeter or two, one way or the other.
well, don't do
I
that.
don't I don't know why. I don't know why I
Just
do it.
don't do that.
I
Just don't.
don't know why I do it. It just
Yeah. You
happens.
just need to not do it.
It just happens. Uh,
Yeah.
but well, hello,
All right. Well,
Vester from Woodland, Alabama.
here's a question. Wanted to
Yes,
register business, LLC, or anything.
I
You,
run an LLC
yeah,
because it just makes more sense until you get to where you're. Now, if you start like getting millions coming in, you might want to look at something different. But
yeah.
for what most laser folks are going to be doing, I think LLCs work fine.
I mean,
Um,
it depends on your state, I guess. Some of them have different rules and like filing fees for different levels. So, I mean, you can do just a sole proprietor, but that doesn't really give you any protections. It doesn't separate your business from your personal finances. So, if someone was ever to, go after you for anything, they can go after your own assets as well. Um, there's also a lot of good tax breaks. You can uh, you get a better tax rate on depending on how you pay yourself out with an LLC, as well as you're able to deduct. You can actually claim a loss, whereas if you're not set up as that, you can write off expenses, but you can't actually have a loss. Um, so yeah, it's definitely worth it. I mean, it's not too difficult here in Minnesota. I know um, the paperwork's fairly easy. There's not a huge filing fee. Um, You just gotta, you gotta keep good books, records, get a good, if you're not good with accounting, get with an accountant. If you are good with accounting, probably still get with an accountant. Um, and just make sure you have everything set up right. You're doing your reporting and such.
Yeah. Speaking of which, today is sales tax deadline day, and I haven't done mine yet, so I got to do that before midnight.
Ah,
but uh, but now, luckily, like I said, Brandy, that's what she's done. Is she's running businesses pretty much her entire adult life, and so I could have just kind of got her to do everything for me, but just like with the machines, I like knowing how everything works, and so I went ahead. I did get her advice, and I went forward with it, and pretty much all the paperwork, setting everything up, I did with after running it past her, of course. And but like Steve said, there are some liability shelters that you get with the LLC versus some of the others. But and it makes it easier come tax time because basically my business is just an extension of my income when it comes to tax the way that I have to do it here in Alabama. I use QuickBooks to keep up with all my expenses and revenue and everything. Everything I do goes in QuickBooks, and I will gladly pay that $30 a month for QuickBooks to keep from having to worry about trying to keep a spreadsheet with receipts in it and stuff like that because I have an app. I just snap pictures of my receipts. It automatically detects them when they come through my bank account. It pairs everything up. All I got to do is code it and hit save. So it makes life a lot easier. Sales tax, end of the month, you just hit, sales tax submission. It pulls it up, and I transfer that over to the state and send it, hit pay. So it makes it a lot easier. It does cost money, but the thing about it is when you start a business, QuickBooks is something I use to run my business. Therefore, QuickBooks is deductible. So that $30 I spend every month is at the end of the month. I don't have to pay taxes on that money, and that will become a big issue with you once you get the revenue coming in. Is you'll be holding your breath at the end of the year like I am right now, hoping that you've been able to offset enough income that you don't get raked through the coals at the end of the year. So
well,
it's
and
something you got to consider.
I mean, if you're at that point where you're actually making decent money, like you say, it's a worthy expense, just in the time savings and help you keep you organized. But also you're gonna, hopefully you're successful enough where you're gonna hit that level where you got to start paying quarterly taxes, income taxes as well. I mean, there's sales taxes you got to report to the state and such. But um, yeah, I was going to mention, Jim. Yeah, most states will have a requirement of public notice of incorporation, or even if you're doing business ads, and yeah, those ads usually they require you to run it in your locality. And a lot of the newspapers go, well, here's a cash cow because they have to do it, and there's no other option. And I don't think I quite had to pay 2K here, but it wasn't cheap, and it gets you this little like 1 inch by 2 inch thing that basically says such and such business has started operations at this address or something like that. And no one will ever read it, and you're just out that money. But that's what you got to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. It really, Jim. I have always got 1099s from other jobs. I did security work for a long time in law enforcement, so I've always paid QuickBooks the TurboTax. I've always had to pay the self-employed version, so it really was no difference for me. And the reason I used to do that is because I used to travel out of state. I drive my vehicle, burn my gas, provide my equipment, stuff like that. So I've always had to have the self-employed version of TurboTax. But if you use QuickBooks, TurboTax kind of they literally connect. So when you get ready to do your taxes at the end of the year, all you have to do is calculate my taxes and then print it and then go over to TurboTax, punch the numbers in, and you're done. So it makes it a lot easier. It's it's not fun all the time, but it does make it a lot easier, and you don't lose things and keep up, like misplaced things as much. The only
Yeah,
thing
I mean,
I need them to put a QuickBooks calendar in there, or they probably already have one. I just don't use it because there's so many licenses and crap that you got to remember. Those are hard to keep
yeah,
up with.
it can be when you're first starting out and you don't really have income coming in, it can be a little tough. So there are some good kind of bookkeeping spreadsheet templates out there that'll at least get you started. But both Clack and I have been down that path, and um, it's manageable to a point. You'll spend a lot of
Yeah,
time managing it at some point. So
yeah. My first year and a half, I had a spreadsheet, and I only accepted cash. So, but when you get to the point to where you have to submit tax paperwork to somebody, or you start doing business with other businesses that want to deduct what they spend, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have, because they're going to ask for your EIN, and they're going to send you a 1099. And so at that point, you got to bite it. You just got to bite the bullet and go ahead and do it. But like I said, for about, I guess, a year and a half, almost 2 years, when I first got the sawmill, everything was on a spreadsheet. And I've still got my spreadsheets, but it came a point where I was like, okay, it's time to legitimize everything. And I had enough money coming in that I could afford to pay for the LLC and the QuickBooks and all that kind of stuff getting started out.
mhm.
And and hopefully it'll continue to get to where I'm making more money, and so that those business costs of doing business won't be as noticeable.
Yep. Well, that's enough about taxes and business, unless people have more
Yeah,
questions.
I know.
But
I was going to say this is guys. This isn't the accountant's channel.
news fans looking to purchase a CNC machine, trying to decide between Fox Alien XE Pro and the Genmitsu 6050 XL, leaning towards Fox Alien because of upgrades and build quality. Any thoughts?
Well, I will say the Genmitsu 6050. Steve stole that from me, so I haven't got one of those. I do have the 4040, which is what I use today. It's okay. It isn't as rugged as the 3030 that I have. The 3030 actually is more rugged. I really would like to try out the 6050, but Genmitsu has not felt it in their heart to talk to me just yet about that. And Steve got it, and I didn't. So there's that. Steve gets all the cool toys. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're very similar looking machines. I haven't looked at uh, terribly closely at the Fox Alien. So I would definitely, between the two, I would maybe reach out to the companies, see what kind of response you get from them. Maybe ask them some questions like you would if you're asking from tech support kind of thing. See what kind of response you get from them at that point. Um, and also, yeah, look at any of the upgrade options that are currently out there. That's definitely going to be something you want to look into. But they're very similar machines on paper anyway. So definitely, I think the Fox Alien might even be cheaper if I remember right, like a couple $100 maybe. So you know, I have I haven't tried one myself. I've got the 6050. I've got my Winfinity. I've had a number of other ones. Um, so I can't speak to Fox Alien as far as working with them or the quality of their machines. But I think Jim Mitsu and Fox Alien are kind of in the same kind of ballpark, and you know they're definitely competitors and probably use a lot of the same, uh, possibly the same designers if you look at some of their machines. But I mean, they're doing similar things.
Yeah. Do you see what Brian put down there?
Yeah, it's true.
There you go, Brian. Oh my goodness. Uh, yeah, like I said, I've made some pretty cool. Yeah, I saw that. I've made some pretty cool stuff with the Genmitsu, the 4040 Pro, and it has taught me the basics. It is served a purpose. I do know that I enjoy it, I like it, and I can make some cool stuff. But I'm limited to 16 inches. That's the hang up that I have, and I'm going to get something bigger. I am right now. I am looking at. I can't get away. The Onefinity is. I'm really liking the new Elite series. But I've also been looking because a few people have emailed me and messaged me. I'm also looking at the long mill from CNC or Sciencey or however they say it. Uh, I just don't know. It's cheap economically. The long mill would definitely be the way to go. but I really do like the way that the Onefinity goes together with the cable management and all that, because you know I'm a stickler about cable management. So I don't know. It's like, do I spend the money to get the Onefinity, or do I get the 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 long mill and 3D print myself some parts and kind of tweak it and fix it to my liking? I mean, I don't know yet. Still up in the air.
Yeah. So um, they, th- I can't speak a little bit to Onefinity support. You know, they definitely seem to be pretty decent to work with. And you know, I bought their original machine not right away at the kick, you know, when they did the pre-orders, but kind of on the tail end of that. So I've had mine a while, and so far they've been really good at offering upgrade paths to the new machine. So what they do is they'll put together a kit of the parts you need, and then they'll give you a decent discounted price. They'll they'll even send you a shipping label, and then they refurbish them, and they say they're trying to get them out to some schools, maker spaces, and veteran shops and such. So um, and that's just my experience with Onefinity, and I'm, I'm I've gotten the email and the invite to upgrade mine to the Elite machine, and I'm kind of like, I'd love to. I don't have a need to, um, out of just more than curiosity, because short of just doing like you mentioned, adding a little bit better cable management to it, which they did come out. I mean, I've got an aftermarket kit. I just need to install, but they also came out with a with some pro features for their original series, and that one of them includes drag chains and cable management. So that they are good at continuing to upgrade stuff. But um,
Yeah. Well,
the one thing that
I've looked at the pro, but I've just I, they keep pushing that elite, and it's not that much more money for the elite once you get
yeah,
into the pro. So it's just like,
if you already yeah if you're buying new, that's the way I'd go. If you already have one, you're kind of like,
yeah,
because it's, you know, I've already invested so much in this one, that it's not. Yeah, I'd be losing a little money on that deal outside of had I not bought this one and went straight to it. But you know, I've also had this one for a while and been able to use it. So
yeah. Uh, Greg, 2 sheets of 3/4 inch birch cabinet grades, what I used for my enclosure Zilla project. You don't have to go that meaty with it, but I like the 3/4 inch cabinet material because you don't have to necessarily build a framework for it, because the stuff's so sturdy that with a little bit of glue, proper pre-drilling, and proper screws for plywood, it's hard to tear it apart. So that's the reason I went with the 3/4. You can go. We actually built one the other day for a buddy of mine. I used furring strips, framed it out, and then took Luan and skinned it on the outside, because he wanted one he could carry upstairs and put in his project room or whatever in his house. And so we wanted to keep it lightweight, but yet contain the smoke and protect everybody from the light and the dust and everything. And that thing didn't weigh probably 50 pounds when we got it built. But it was made, like I said, it was skinned out. It was 2x2s framed up and then skinned out with 4.5 millimeter plywood. So, but yeah, mine was actually, like I said, mine, you're not going to be moving mine around. It is built in
right,
place, so it doesn't go anywhere.
right, yeah, that was what when I built mine. Of course, it's not for an extended machine. It was to enclose the original X-Tool D1, and I had two goals. I wanted it to be compact, so it didn't take up a whole lot of space, and I also wanted it to be sturdy but a little portable. So
Yeah.
I did build it out a 1/2 inch, but it's also the size where that's completely feasible. It's well supported. It's, you know, you get that, you know, you got almost what 4 foot width on that thing, right?
Yeah, it's
Um,
just a little over 48 inches long.
so that's gonna it's 1/2 inch plywood. That it's gonna need a little extra there, I think. But
Yeah.
the nice thing is at least plywood's come down some.
Yeah,
It's
because
not,
when I built this, I think it was $90 a sheet, and it
yeah,
broke my heart. But I was like, I gotta have
yeah.
it.
So
So
here's a question. William's been using mostly 3 millimeter for different items, been designing, making, been ordering 3 millimeter birch plywood from X Tool. Do you have a cheaper source you can recommend? Well, depends on where you're at. Uh, in some cases, it's worth checking out any hardwood dealers around you. A lot of them deal with sheets of plywood, cabinet grade and other, and so they might be able to source some for you. But there's always some places. I mean, Amazon has a lot, but if you want a nice mixture of plywood and hardwood, Ooch Hardwoods out of Wisconsin is a good place to pick up that. They sell Baltic birch. They sell, I think, light ply. You can even get other like hardwood plywoods, and then you can mix in some hardwoods as well. So that's definitely a good place to check out. It's a nice family-run business. Um, yes, they're in Wisconsin, but I'll forgive them for that. So check them out as far as online ordering.
Yes. Like I said, I went yesterday and bought some some of that plywood from Lowe's for some of my phone holders that I had ordered, and it works. It's got little stubborn spots here and there, but it actually looks really nice when I got through with them. But typically I would use Luon, but I wanted something a little harder for those phone holders just to make sure they didn't break. Uh,
Yeah, and I am.
DJ, I am not all in on any one particular machine. I use machines for their strengths and what they're good at. As far as comparing the S1 and the Rolly, it's kind of apples and oranges. Yes, they're kind of shaped the same. They kind of, they're in ways they're similar, but the S1, it has its strengths with the 40-watt module and the speeds that it can run, but it's not great at other things, and it's because of like I said, with if you use jigs and you use my jig kit, the S1 in my book it gets to where it's definitely a usable machine and a good machine. Before I figured out how to do a jig system for it, I never used it, like because it was just such a pain to try to get stuff positioned in the S1 that I would catch myself going to one of my other machines, kind of slap a jig in there and go with it. Now that I've got my jig system, I'm getting a lot more work out of it. But the work area is still limited for as far as height. It's because it's only 12 inches high. So a lot of the jobs that I do, it doesn't necessarily serve me well. But now for high speed, like get it done, batching things out, that wide work area to where I can turn my over travel up a little bit and run those real crazy speeds, it works good. But there's a lot of differences. You got to figure out what it is you're going to be doing first of all, because if what you're doing will not fit in a 12-inch tall workspace, then you may want to look at other machines. Even though it is wide, it's still kind of short. So, but I have at my disposal the Acer V35 extended, which is 430 by 850, and then I have the uh, longer B1 sitting over here that's 450 by 450. Then I've got the Rolly, which is right around 400 by 400. Now it's a beast, but it has, it's a little bit smaller work area. And then of course I have the S1 set up, which has the 12-inch by, was it 18 or 19-inch work area. So I just pick whichever machine fits the job best. Uh, the 40-watt, I don't know that it has the precision when it comes to engraving as some of the other machines, but I really didn't get it for engraving as much as I did for cutting, because it will cut like nobody's business as
You
long as
know,
it's small enough.
I mean, uh, that's the common thing people talk about is, the larger dot size of the 30s and the 40s. And coming from someone who started on a CO2 laser with an even bigger dot size than a 40 dot diode, I think it's nitpicking. And I even tried to point that out in, I think when I was doing the IKEA 2448 review. Um, there was maybe some quality difference, but I think it was because I was hitting with just so much power. It wasn't so much the dot size. It was just, having more of a staining and a burning effect to it. Or I think if you dial that back, unless you're doing something on a material that is so precise, like stainless steel or tile, I don't know that if you're just doing wood,
Yeah.
go with the the machine that gets you the burn the fastest. You can always dial down the speed. I don't think at that level you're going to miss any quality. So,
No,
but that's
this was
just kind of my opinion.
hey, that was done. This was done with a 30 watt. All right, and let me see if I can see. You can see the rocking chairs on the porch and the decorations on the windows. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
hard to tell with this camera, but this was done on a 30 watt. I actually did this one on the longer because I had the other machines tied up. So the longer B1 did this one, and it done a really good job. So it's like I said, there's a lot of different machines, a lot of different. I don't really want to badmouth any of them because they all have decent characteristics. Now I will say, like I said, for the price right now and for everything you get, it's that guy back there is doing a really good job. If a 400 by 400 is what you need, uh, because the price of that machine is basically what the V35 without anything costs or did cost. I think this came down now, but at one time, the V35 when it first came out was $1,600. That whole setup is $1,600. So if all you need is 400 by 400, that's a heck of a lot better deal. But unfortunately, I have a need to where I have to have something as big as this. And that's why I went and built my enclosure. And, I have all the things that this one has now, but I had to do a lot of work to get there and spend a lot
Yeah.
more money.
Yeah. All right. This one's been asked a couple times, so I want to make sure we at least attempt on it. Big Sky Hobby Corner is asking any advice on attempting to engrave a black 9mm slide with an Ortur Laser Master 2.
Not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
if I remember right, that's probably like a 5-watt laser, most likely 5 to 10.
Yeah, but that black steel on I don't know what kind of weapon it is, but if it's a Glock or if it's anything that has basically a oil, most of your finishes on firearms
Is it blue?
aren't, huh?
Go ahead.
Most of your finishes on firearms are not going to be. It's just going to be like a oil. Basically, it's a tarnish. And you're not going to mark it with a diode. I don't see it happening. What was you saying?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on if it's like some of the barrels are blued versus there's like a coating on a lot of the slides and such tend to have more of a coating on them that is pretty tough. That's yeah. This is a case that if you have some way of sourcing some scrap material to do some tests on, you might be able to find a setting, but yeah, I don't know. Even on my CO2 on some of that stuff, it's just not enough power to blast through the coatings with enough effect. So
Yeah, if it's got Cerakote on it, or if it's got some type of finish, kind of like powder coating, maybe you could do something then. But most firearms that are black, Beretta, Sig, Glock, all those, that's not a coating. They actually it stains the steel. Basically, it's a form of oxidation that you put the material on there and it oxidizes it, causes it to turn black, and prevents it from rusting because it's technically already rusted. Somebody else asked something else. I'm trying to catch it. Oh, there you go. Steve says you've been doing a lot of painting lately.
painting, I've been
You did the little. What was that you did the other day?
using the markers.
The turkey.
Yeah, actually, I do. I have another thing. Hopefully, I'm going to be using these with. I just haven't gotten all my initial tests done to do the actual project. But yeah, for the smaller things that we do, if it's any sort of detail or filling in where you got to stay within the lines, these acrylic paint pens are awesome. David turned me onto those as well. And those are great for detail. If it's parts, individual parts, a lot of times I'll just use like your acrylic craft paints and like a foam brush or something. You just want to get it kind of even and whatnot. The problem with spray painting, unless they're a lot larger, you're going to blow your parts all around and make a mess of them. So
Now, stuff
Yeah,
like this, a rattle can is my go-to.
yeah, bigger stuff like that. Definitely just some good old Krylon or what's the other brand? Krylon and
Rust-Oleum 2 times.
Rust-Oleum. There we go. Yeah,
That was painted with Rust-Oleum 2X white. About 3 coats.
that's also good stuff for the using on tiles. It's got I think a decent titanium dioxide content. I think is
Yeah,
what's in there.
it also makes for good black images on wood.
Yeah. Let's see here. Did I grab the right one? Hayden is asking, my HRP20 grinds when it's homing framing. I've adjusted the belts. Is there something else I should be looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Brian was having that issue, wasn't he, too?
Yeah, it's either going to be the eccentric nuts need to be adjusted, or the timing linkage that's underneath where the buttons and everything are. That timing linkage in there. If you have to make sure that when you put that timing linkage together, that big aluminum block, make sure it's not hitting the side of the stepper, because if you're not careful when you're putting the machine together, you can shove that thing all the way up against the stepper, and so when it turns, it actually presses against the stepper and causes some resistance. But also, there can be situations where the eccentric nuts get a little too tight. But I would check the timing linkage first, because that's kind of the easiest fix. Uh, the, uh, the eccentric nuts on the wheels are a little bit of a bear, and when you do start adjusting those small, tiny increments, don't go getting crazy, because you'll
Yeah.
go way too far, and it takes a while to get them readjusted.
The other thing is the actual gear pulley on the belts. If that is slightly askew somehow, and it can be rubbing on the belt, sometimes almost skipping teeth too. So it's generally something mechanically between the belts, the rods, and the gantry. So
Yeah. Mark, that was an image. Now, I did take that image and drop it in Adobe, and I tweaked it before I burned it. But I did a test burn with it. I don't even know what I did with the test burn. On just regular plywood, and then I turned around, did a power and speed test on basswood, because I never use basswood. So I did a power and speed test on basswood, selected my settings from here, and then run that image on a piece of basswood that was cut to fit the bottom of that tray. And that was actually my first shot, and it worked. So I called it done. Et Et Klein asked me that same question when I was over here, when he was over or talking to him earlier, and I'll tell you, like I told him, there'll be a video on that. But it's the type of paint, the amount of paint, the amount of air assist, and the cleanup method. One thing I will tell you is, do not, when you do those on a white painted surface, do not touch it. Use compressed air to clean it. Don't touch it. If you touch it with a rag, all you're going to do is smear that soot all over that white paint, and you cannot get it out of there.
So Pascal's asking about, is it normal that my dot isn't at the same spot, whether I'm up an inch or two for positioning than when I'm at 3 millimeters high? Because that's been annoying a lot, especially with small projects. I mean, it's going to be bigger, but it should be pointed in the same general area, centered on the same point. If it's moving much, then something is out of square on your gantry, most likely, or your holder. So
Yeah.
if I'm understanding what the situation is, if that dot is kind of moving its center point in a noticeable amount, then yeah, it's got to be something that's not. You basically want your gantry to be square to your rails, and then your module to be square to your table as well, and everything square to each other. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to have. It's considered tramming generally. You want to get everything square and level. But if I'm not understanding that right, maybe clarify and or if you can drop a quick video in our Facebook group, and we can take a look at that as well.
Yeah,
get some people looking
I'm
at your problem.
interpreting that the same way that you are too. It sounds like what he says when it comes up, it goes out, which would indicate
Yeah.
that it was definitely not at square. Somebody asked, "Was that painted when I engraved it?" Yes, it was. When you're trying to do a white object, that's the way. That's the best way I found to do it is to paint the material white, then engrave it, and that way, whatever is left is going to be white in color. Uh, so yes, that was painted prior to me engraving it.
Yeah, Pascal, if you could, yeah, just take a look at that, see if it's basically perpendicular and square. If not, send us a video on the Facebook area, and we'll see if we can take a better look at it, take a better stab at it.
Oh Lord, here we go again. Technically, no, it is not, according to everything that I've read and my buddies that work at the ATF. Keeping guns overnight, you do have to have a log to where you log them in, you work on them, and you log them out. But all you really have to do, even to be able to do that, is get a gunsmith's license from the ATF, which is about a $200 one-time purchase with a background check, and you're good. But like I did one today. I did a Henry rifle for a kid. His granddaddy wanted the stock engraved. He brought it by. He stood here. I wrote the text. Is that how you want it to read? He said yes, and I engraved the stock for him. He picked his weapon up and took it back with him and went home, and paid me what he owed me. So there's nothing illegal about engraving them. There are some things if you start keeping them overnight and things like that that get into a sticky situation. When I retire, if I do decide to get me a bigger fiber and I start actually doing like sure enough gun engraving, I already actually have started my paperwork to get my FFL gunsmith license, which is all that would be required for that. As long as you don't remove or alter the serial number or the required markings on a weapon, you're good. So I hear that all the time, but I have several people that I know in my line of work that work for the ATF, and I have asked them, and they're like, "No, that's." But they did say that if I'm gonna be keeping them overnight, it'd be a really good idea to go ahead and get my gunsmith license just to cover that overnight stay. Yes, I do have a. Well, I don't know about the CR laser. I've got the Creality Falcon. If you go to my Etsy shop and just search Creality, it'll show you what's there. There should be some pictures. Da-da. Did you ever get the EG4? You didn't, did you? You got the 3 Plus or
No,
3 Pro.
no, no. They originally contacted me about the Niji 4, and then said, "Oh well, we don't have any available in the U.S. and it's too expensive to ship from China, so we're going to send you the 3, and then we'll do the 4." And then they
Yeah,
sent you the 4.
yeah. No, it has a really good Z-axis. Oh, I like the machine. If it was a 30 watt, it would definitely be more into like one of my daily drivers. It's actually right there, and I do on occasion use it for engraving jobs. But the problem that I have is it won't fit in any of my enclosures, and so in order to engrave wood with it, I have to open the doors, and I don't do that when it's really hot, and I don't do that when it's really cold. And I don't want to rebuild an enclosure for a 20 watt when I have 30 watt machines already in them. So it's a great machine. That needs you. It's it's awesome. I like the Z axis. The Z axis acts kind of like a CNC in the way that it works, and I really dig the way their Z axis works, and I've even been tempted to try to take and like figure out a way of making my V35 work that way, but it's too much trouble. But it's a
Yeah,
really good machine and really powerful for a 20 watt, but it's still just a 20 watt.
yeah. I'm still waiting for that good Z-axis machine to come my way. Um, the Acer and the IKEA are okay, but um, it just seems kind of a little little slow for what you get. Um, and with the little touch off pin that they used, I just feel like it's inconsistent for me. So um, I'd love to check out that Z axis on that one. There was another one you said was very much like that. I forget which one that
That's the
was.
Two Trees TS20.
There
Is
you
the
go.
only that's the only other machine that I've ever had with a Z axis that didn't make me want to hit it with a hammer. Other than, I mean, the X Tool S1 works, but they did use a mechanical pen, which it works. I would have liked to have seen them use LiDAR or something like that, like they did in the P2. But the X Tool S1 Z axis works fine. But yeah, Acer tried it with the was it the L24 or whatever. I hated that. That was, they ruined a good machine by putting that Z axis on it, and you can't disable it. But and there's been a couple of others that have had a Z axis that I didn't like. But yeah, Niji, and I guess X Tool, and the WeCreate Z axis works okay. Oh, it has some other things about it that are a little quirky, but the Z axis actually works pretty well.
Um, yeah, I'd like to know more about how that works. I've just kind of gotten mine up and running now, so hopefully I'll have my review and a couple projects out with it soon. Um, but I mean, basically you have an autofocus button. Now, the other option is if you import G code, because you can't run it natively in Lightburn. They do give you the device profile, but you can't. It won't connect to the machine. So you got to set up your stuff exactly as you want it in the machine, export the G code, import it, and then you need to specify the thickness of the material. So, and that's a lot how the Xtool P2 works, is that it's trying to measure it, or you can override that and say, no, it's this thickness. Now you can't override that in the WeCreate. Their software is very, they got the frame in, they got to put the finishes on it now. So I kind of have a feeling that they've got like this, they know where the base level is, because that's why it homes up to the top. So it knows where it's at. And then it knows how far it should move, but it also then uses a method like LiDAR or something to then try to determine the distance to the material. I like that I have an override on the P2 that, because sometimes it'll measure it and say, well, it's 3.2 millimeters. I'm like, nope, I measured that. I know it's 3. So I manually, override it. Whereas the WeCreate, I'm just trusting it took the right measurement.
Yeah, Jack, I had a buddy of mine reached out to me here a while back, was building, he had his paperwork to build his, and that was one of his things he had to have before he could assemble it, was the serial numbers, which have to be 3 thousandths deep. But luckily, the com marker was able to put them in there at about 5 thousandths deep. So, and it was actually coated. I think it had Cerakote on it, but we got it done with the com marker. So that's the only serialized stuff I've done. And he had to have his trust put on there as well, because when you have a trust like that, instead of just a serial number, you have to have the name of the trust engraved on the lower one. You put it together.
Yep.
Brian, just wanted to remind you, Steve, do not leave your fireplace unattended.
Well, like I said, this one has a real nice auto cutoff feature. It just means you won't be able to take any calls.
Yeah, Gray. That's why we always put Steve on the top. That's why we make him look on top, because I got my monitors are stacked. I don't have my monitors left and right. My monitors are stacked on top of each other, and so when I look up at the top monitor to check any of my stuff up there, it's like I'm looking at Steve. So yeah, that's why we always
Well,
have to have him on top. If he's on the bottom, it looks like I'm just staring into space. Oh, now that's just messed up, man. Ooh, you look like a paler down there. Well, Mike, if you're looking for something to play with metals and coins and stuff like that, I will say the com marker's done me a really good job. The B4. Now that little laser, the little purple thing they sent me, I wasn't really impressed with. I'm sure it has its place for like people with limited space and limited work area, but yeah, com marker I still like mine. You're still working. You haven't broke it yet, have you?
Not yet. No, I I've got some things I want to play with on it, so hopefully we'll get that dragged out and work a little more. It's just been it's one of those very specialty things that when you have a use for it, it is super useful. Um, but as just a kind of curiosity thing, if you don't have a plan how to use it, it's one of those things that's going to kind of sit around a lot. So I think that's but the price of them is why it's kind of a little bit of a, people think twice before those. But I know a lot of makers that they like to add like a brass coin into their woodworking projects, and then they can engrave it with that stamp and they inlay that. This is a perfect device for that. Making those challenge coins and other things for people. Another good reason.
That's going to be a question for you because you get all the cool toys, and I don't have an F1.
Actually, yeah, I don't believe you even need the. I don't know that you need the Galvo license for it, but yes, it does work with the F1, and most of the features are there. The one weird the weird thing for me is with batching out items, is that every time you go to run a job, it's going to default back to the blue laser instead of the IR. And so if you're trying to do metal items, you have to remember to go in, hit the button. It's like the macro buttons in Lightburn. You click one of those, tell it to go to the IR this time, hit start, and then it defaults right back again. So that's one of just the oddities with it. But other than that, it does work very well with the F1.
I am using a monstrous. I wouldn't call it a desktop or a laptop. You can't set this on your desk. My PC weighs about 130 pounds. Oh, it's a beast, but it is a stationary computer. It is definitely not a laptop. It is massive.
It's like a
And
like an engineering machine.
well, it's actually a computer forensics machine. It was
Well,
long story short, back about 10, 12 years ago when I got my Secret Service certification to do computer forensics. I was on the Secret Service Innocent Images Task Force, where basically I worked computer crimes, internet crimes, child pornography cases. I did a lot of phone analysis and computer analysis on most any kind of case, cell phone plotting on homicides, rapes, arsons, whatever. And so this machine was the machine that I used for that. And when I decided to get out of it a couple of years ago, the machine was by then obsolete because those things, like technology evolves, processors and everything, video cards, everything evolves so fast that it was no longer usable. So when I told the Secret Service that I was getting off the task force, basically all of my equipment was deemed surplus. I got to clean it up really well because it had some stuff on it that I couldn't bring home. Put new hard drives in it, and I repurposed it because it's too good of a machine to throw away, but it's not up to snuff to do what it was doing before. We actually have a new guy that does that now, and he's got a brand new system that's twice as big as this one. So that's my machine is not like any machine you'll have. When it was originally purchased, it was a very, very state of the art machine, but that's been 14 years ago. But it still works. I just can't run Windows 11 because the clock speed on my processor is not quite enough. But anyway, yeah, that's where that come from. Because people are always asking me, especially people come into shop and they see it, they're like, "My gosh, what is that?" it looks like a trash compactor, but it's not. It's a computer. But it does have a RAID. It's got a total of like 8 hard drives in it, like 100 and what's it? Crap, I don't forgot how many gigs of RAM it's got in it. I think it may just have 64. No, I think it does have 128. But anyway, it's a beast.
more than enough.
Oh yeah, it'll run anything that needs to be ran. I do plan to build me a new one because it is getting age on it. I don't know how much longer it's going to hold out, but it has all new hard drives in it. So I put new SSDs in it because when it was built, solid state drives were just coming out, and so they went with spin drives when they built it. And so once I repurposed it, I put solid states back in it instead of spin drives.
Cool.
They're a lot better for when you're editing video, especially. They actually make a big difference. Let's see here. All right, how long have we been doing this? An hour and 5 minutes, guys. If you hadn't, please hit the button down there. Steve's trying to hit his stretch goal of 11,000 subscribers, and I'm just trying to get as many as I can get. I ain't gonna lie to y'all guys. I'm greedy. I want as many as I can get. The more, the better. I'm not gonna stop, even if I get 21,000 before the new year. I'm gonna ask y'all for 22,000. So that's just the way it works.
Well, I mean, I won't turn any down either, but you know. See, I was meaning to ask you, what'd you get me?
What I get you for what?
Yeah, what'd you get me?
For your goal?
No. Did you forget? You don't know. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
Mm-mm.
Man, I feel sorry for
Did you
Brandy if you're this
Did you have
way.
a birthday?
No, I don't have a birthday. Never have a birthday.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. We got some kind of like weird anniversary thing coming up. Is that what it is? That's what it is.
It's between last week and this week, but we've been doing this for a year now.
Really? The lives?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
we've done 52
December
of these things.
Yeah, it was beginning of December last year that we kind of started doing the weekly Sunday night thing. You know, other than
because that first week it was like me, you, Chris, Brian, and who else was it? There was like 4 of us in here that first week, I think. So it has gotten a lot bigger.
Oh wow!
Oh really?
Oh man,
Brandy, in front of my friends, come on now. Y'all know y'all know I'm bad with numbers.
All right, so now is it is it worse to forget? Is it worse to forget your wife's birthday or your anniversary?
I have never forgot her birthday. It's on Christmas. You can't forget it.
That didn't answer the question though.
And I married her like 2 days before my birthday, so I wouldn't forget that one.
So you're kind of smart there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
No, our anniversary is 3 days after Carla's birthday. So if I miss the birthday, I won't be forgetting the anniversary.
All right, I've seen this question twice. I need to check this. I gotta find it. Somebody asked me, and I don't know who it was. Oh, ET.
You changing the subject.
Well, I'm just trying to get this one before I forget.
She says, "Well, there's that one time."
It's up there. Did I forgot? Well, I ain't gonna argue because I may have forgot it. I do get busy sometimes. But yeah, we are gonna change it. Off to the next subject now. Where's that band button at? No, I haven't cleaned it yet. I probably need to. But I haven't run it in a little while. It's been sitting over there because I've been busy doing everything else. But I am planning on trying to put together a little bit of video of it for if somebody don't beat me to it, so that just kind of show you how I go about it and how nasty mine got. But hopefully it hasn't gotten real dirty because I have been running the air assist religiously. So, well, North Alabama,
Yeah,
I know greed's bad, but can't help it.
You're not greedy. You're just highly motivated to acquire.
Well, guys, if y'all knew, I mean, I know a lot of people because people at work. Oh my gosh. Oh, so you just like make videos and people watch them, and so you're making money doing this, that, and the other with lasers. Oh, must be nice. They don't know, Steve, that me and you are out here till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night messaging each other, working on stuff. I mean, it's a lot of work. And so I do like it when I start getting those goals. It means a lot. Because guys, remember now, I'm not retired yet. Me and Steve both work full-time jobs and do this. And if any of y'all have ever messaged me with a problem or anything, I do answer my messages and get back with you. I think I fixed 2 machines today. So it is a burden, but the subscribers and the channel and being able to generate revenue that way, it makes it worth it. Most days.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of work, and uh, because on multiple ends. I mean, I want to put out good information. I try to be complete about the information and anticipate questions or concerns about things. So, that takes time, and you know, the you get done with all that, and then I'm like, okay, now I have to edit the darn thing. So yeah, there's a lot of time and effort into it, and that's why it's great to have people commenting, liking, playing with files, things like that. It at least then feels like you're doing it for a reason. So um, yeah, it's there's a lot of times that something comes in and you're like, oh cool, like it's like Christmas, but now you gotta like, okay, I gotta take all my notes, I gotta do all the work, I gotta get the cameras going. So it takes a little while to actually get to play with it sometimes, um, but yeah, I mean, hopefully we're continuing to put out good content for everybody. I mean, there's a bunch of you here tonight hanging out with us, so um, that's worth it, I guess.
Yeah. Somebody
And
was asking.
the question about the glasses. Did you? Those are the ones you recently got that do both. Nice.
These are the OD6s. Now they're dark. Don't get me wrong, as compared to the ones I used to wear. Like these are for 450. These are for both. All right, guys. Those are for fiber. So like you got fiber, 450, both. Fiber, 450, both. So I don't know if I could have wore these like this. Maybe I mean, does that looks about the same darkness, doesn't it?
Uh, sure.
But no, they're the same glasses. These are the ones that are rated for the fiber. These are the ones that are rated for 450. And this is my newest pair, and these do both. That way, I don't when I'm working with both machines, I don't have to worry about which pair of glasses I have on. But now these things, you better have good lighting in your shop because these things are dark. But they are OD6, and they have it. If you can see it, they have it etched right there around the top. And they actually fit the range of both machines. Yeah, and if you want some of those military issued safety glasses, Steve's got some of those.
Hey now, I believe they're called BCGs.
Yes, I was trying not to
Um,
say that.
yeah, I eventually outgrew my prescription, so Carla finally got me to throw them away.
Pascal's asking, do you ever burn from higher in order to get bigger dot and go faster? You can go out of focus. The only time I usually run out of focus, and it's just because I, I don't know why, is like on glass to keep from cracking it. But other than that, I usually try to go with focus unless I got one of those pieces of wood that doesn't cooperate, then I may go out, a couple of millimeters. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, well, generally it's not so much that I'm wanting to go faster, but sometimes you can play with that to, um, you spread out the power a little bit more, and on certain woods that'll darken it up without going so deep. If you add too much
Yeah.
power to it, it burns down before it necessarily darkens enough. And so that's one time that you might want to defocus a laser a little bit. And then technically, if you're doing a vector engraving, yeah, it could complete it a little bit faster. You could spread out your line interval a little bit. So, but that's not usually the reason I do it. It's generally just playing with the material.
You see this comment? You said it
So
a while ago, not me.
so it's uh my eyes and contacts do not get along. I've tried them, and yeah, I'm stuck with eyewear. That and I don't. I've played around with lasers too much to let someone else shoot one in my eye, so I'm not really up for the LASIK right now.
Hey, that would be an interesting video, though.
Yeah, right. I did have
Is it?
someone reach out to me asking if they could be used for at-home eye surgery, and I just did not respond. I hope they were just trolling, and I just left it that way.
Let's pray. But ET, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the problems that people are having with them as well, and I know Steve had some problems with his, but I haven't had those problems. I don't know if I got like a really, if like I got the like maximum quality control before they sent me mine or what, but so far I haven't had any issues with mine.
Um, yeah, I was having some pretty out of alignment issues with the camera to where the laser was going, and more than I would expect from a typical camera. And being that that's your only way to align, it was kind of concerning. But uh, it was, this is a laser that comes all built. The idea is you pull it out of the box, you start working with it. Well, um, a couple things were out of alignment. I mean, it traveled some distance, and so I needed to go back in and adjust things, make sure the gantry was square. That got my alignment back up. Now that that's running, the other issue I'm having is with wireless. I believe this is an older wireless controller in there. Can't have spaces in your SSID on your network for it to connect to it.
Yeah.
So
How long did we work on that guy?
oh, that
we
was just yeah, that
we
was frustrating. So another so yeah, now that that's working, it's been pretty consistent. I've just started working on some tests. There's a lot of things with the software I'm not keen on, but it feels a lot like when Xtool came out with, what was that program, laser something,
Laserbox Basic.
laser box basic. It was
Yeah.
basic, and coming from Lightburn, I was very frustrated. I kind of feel the same way with the Recreate software. I see the potential. They just need to keep updating it. They need to get some of those features worked out, and I think that'll be a lot better. But yeah, I'm going to be working with it the next few days, and hopefully I won't have any problems with it, and I'll be able to get some content out on it. But it's just sometimes with some of these machines, um, you got to do a little checking. You got to kind of build that trust. Once you do have it working, you got to build that trust before you start hitting it with the expensive material of the real job. So
Mm-hmm. Tig is asking if I'm going to be doing a video on engraving stainless. Tig, I did the tumbler one, and yes, it was a coated tumbler. But if you watch the video, the very first pass I did on it, I actually removed the coating, and then went back and engraved the stainless underneath. So, whew. Yeah, I will be doing more. Still doing some testing on some like really thick pieces of stainless. The problem with stainless is the thickness of the material definitely limits how slow you can go without causing it to deform on yourself. What have you done, did? You've tore something up, haven't you?
what? I don't know, what?
I saw you reach for something.
I was just checking something.
But but yeah, I do have a video. I'm gonna do some more testing on stainless, but I have done that one.
Someone was saying I needed an extra log on the fire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Pascal, you can. There's a, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can go about it, and with images, you can defocus. You can. I mean, oh, there's a lot of different techniques. A lot of the times, the way that I do things isn't necessarily like I say in my videos all the time. It's not the only way. It's just the way that I do it. There are other people that do it other ways. There's some things that me and Steve do total different procedures on, but
Well,
the
it's
end
because I do it the
result
right way.
is the end result. Yeah, sure. Well, that's why you got to keep your coin around. That way you can flip it to see who's right. And guys, I don't know why, but this coin always lands on the fact that I'm right. I don't know, but it always does. I saw you made one the other day.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I put it now. Wow.
Mm-hmm. It ain't gonna do you no good if you can't find it.
Well, hmm huh. Well,
Uh,
I don't know. Yeah, there's a question from John about the Lightburn update. Updated Lightburn 1.4.04. Now when I hit start on a project, it tells me I don't have anything set to output. Cuts and layers shows them as output. If I use cut selected tab, it will work, but only that way. Have you updated? I think I'm still on, what was it, 1.4. Was it 01, the one before that? I don't know that
I run the most recent version. Let me see what I got here. Check for updates and see what it says I got. Yeah, I'm running 1.4.04, and I haven't had that problem. The only thing that I could think of that would cause it to do that would be if the corner of your graphic was across the workspace limits. It'll basically cancel out the whole graphic. So you might want to check and make sure you don't have something that's hidden or turned off that's outside the work area that's grouped with the other objects.
Here, I'll use this coin.
Yeah, but that one's always going to say you're right.
Yep.
You are shorter, you have to jump higher. What? Dave, you are shorter, you have to jump to get the higher things. Brian, I don't know that I'm necessarily short. I am over 6 foot tall. Now, Steve is part Sasquatch, so he's a little bit taller than I am. But now I met a guy the other day, made me feel like a kid. I ain't gonna lie. This dude was 6'10", and I was like, he had to duck to come out of the door of a building, and I was like, holy crap.
I remember being in Keystone, South Dakota. So it's like a big, it's an old gold rush town in the Black Hills, and it's now a big tourist trap area. And like you've noticed, I've always been pretty tall. And we were there, and there was this cowboy that had to have been 6'8", 6'10". And I'll tell you, it's odd when I have to like turn my neck this way and look at someone. It was jarring because I'm not used to running into people that are taller than me. It is jarring to not look down upon y'all.
Well, see, most of the folks, like I work around a lot of guys that are like 6'2", 6'3". Klein's like 6'4". So I mean, he's a little taller than me, but I mean, we can still, we're right here. But this dude the other day, like, my head came to his chest, and I was like, my gosh, this is what it feels like for those little guys, because this dude was massive. He had to like his shoulders were even with the top of the door frame, and I was like, my gosh.
That's got to be difficult.
Yes. Well, he was wearing a leg brace, so obvious, and he was an older guy. So I mean, obviously, being that tall has its disadvantages as well.
Yeah.
Oh, because there's not a lot of leg room in cars these days, even for.
Well, no, I mean that's just it. You don't fit anywhere. Yeah. So.
But yeah, you're probably one of the taller people that I see running around most days. But I say that guy was just, it was insane. Dale, he's saying he lost his. Now I do know that some machines, based on the screen ratio and the resolution, Lightburn looks different because like Klein's laptop, his Lightburn looks different than mine based on because of his resolution settings and the output of his display. So if you're using a desktop, you might want to check and make sure how your monitor is set up, the resolution that you're running, and play with that and see if maybe that helps, reorient things better.
Now what was he say? He was missing the upper toolbar. Wow. I was gonna say a lot of the things you can find if you can get to the window menu. There's a lot of the boxes and tools that you can check or uncheck, and then that'll display or hide them. So if you have the menu bar up there, go to window and check because there's the tools option that may have just gotten unchecked. So.
There you go, Sasquatch. Yeah, he is a little Sasquatchy. I really would like to see Steve in like a ghillie suit, like a brown ghillie suit, walking through his neighborhood because people would think they'd saw Bigfoot. We should get him. He should.
Uh,
He should. You should do a short in a Bigfoot costume,
that
walking through
could
your
be
neighborhood.
that could be dangerous.
Oh, see you,
There are
Gray.
people.
Have a good one.
We have I live just a couple blocks from this place called Rasmussen Woods, and it's a big city park that's got trails through it. And they, because we are at the confluence of a couple of river valleys, we get a lot of deer that funnel in through those, and they get too much, and so they have to thin the herd, and so they do a deer hunt in there, bow hunting. So I don't know that I'd want to walk around in a Yeti suit with bow hunters freaked out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Sam. I think they told me the other day that this guy was like 6'8" or 6'10" that I saw because it was just caught me off guard. 6'6" is probably about as tall as you need to be in today's world. Because man, you would hit your head on everything if you were much taller than that.
Oh yeah, it's
Like I said,
I'm about 6'5", and there are times I'm just like, seriously, my friend's got like a 66 vet. I cannot get my legs situated in the driver's seat to where I could drive that car.
yeah,
It's physically impossible. And he's even modified it to move the seat back a little bit for him because he's like 6'3", 6'2" or 6'3".
Yeah.
So I'm like, sorry, I just have longer legs than you, and I can't. He's like, come on. Like, no, I can, like, maybe if I put my left foot overweight on the right, and there's no way to drive a a souped up five speed.
yeah. Don't hit anything. You'll become part of the car. But yeah, that's some big dudes there. Uh, yeah, you should be able to turn all that stuff back on under the Windows button up top, but I do know that certain screen resolutions is a little trickier. And
Yeah,
if you don't know how to turn those off and on, I can actually screen share it for a second and show you if you need me to.
I had that problem when I hooked up to a very large TV, and the font was either way too big or way too small, and then you're trying to adjust that size, and it could really mess up the look. So
Yep. Oh, man, it's getting tired and yeah.
yeah, you keep that
I
yawning
can't
going.
help it, man. I need to get it moving around a little bit. What's up, Eddie? Over in Japan there. We got to get us. Did you ever get the map worked out? I know you said you
Um,
thought you had it worked out, but you weren't sure.
yeah, I gotta look at that. I think I had it worked out. Oh, I was trying to get it to where it would automatically update, and that's where I couldn't get it. So,
Oh,
um,
okay. I got you.
I do have. I mean, we could play with it. I do have a Google Map set up, and then I have like a Google form that people could drop in, basically like city, state, or country, locale, and name or nickname they want, and then it would start populating this map that we could post. So let me see if I can find that real quick because I might have that form
Yeah, like I said,
out there.
I would really like to get it started, but
Ah, there
there's
it
got to
is.
be somebody out there that does that. I don't know how much it would cost, but we're going to have to look into that.
Um,
A
yeah, I
lot
mean
of
this one
people.
just requires me to refresh it every so often for
Yeah,
them to come out. But
I know I put my name in it because I think I was like the number 2 spot.
all right, if we want, I mean, I can drop this out there.
I mean, if you think it's doable, like if you think it'll work.
We'll run this as a test. If you wanna, you know, play with this, it's you know, I wouldn't say put your exact address unless you want it out there, but as long as if you want to put your location, um, you can. So I will drop that out there, and I'll bring it over on my YouTube channel as well. What this will do is populate a form that then I will have load into a Google map to display where all the listeners are and such. So
Yeah, that would be cool. Especially if we could get like a lot of people participation in it eventually. Once we get it, to where it's working. I hope it's not too labor intensive to move them over into the map.
no, it's literally just a quick thing. I have to basically tell, yeah, repull the information and merge them. So
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. If you want to drop a dot on the map, that would be kind of cool. We could start us a little virtual map, and with it being Google, I'm assuming we can like plot them all over the all over the
yep,
globe,
yeah.
and be
So I
able to see
mean,
them.
for location, you can put just anything that's that a search engine would recognize. So you can even put Mount Rushmore is where I'm at, and it will then put a pin in that location. So
Yeah. Midnight's wanting to know if they can see the map too, but
I'm looking
yes,
I'm looking for it real quick. Gotta get the
I,
right.
I was fixing to say if you have that, I would click on it and see if it's working. The link was not provided when I entered my information. He said, but that would be really 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 cool if we could do that. It could be like our Sunday Night Live map. We could even add that to the links and stuff when we do the shows.
Yeah, yeah. I'll dig it out, and if I don't get it before the end of the live, I'll drop it in the Facebook group as well, and see how it gets filled out with our listeners. So so you're working on um, those ink dens. How are you doing on other
Yeah.
jobs? Gonna stay caught up
Uh,
for
well, I
things?
got three. I got three stove covers built today. I still got to stain them, put the handles on them, but I was too busy playing with my wooden skillet that I didn't finish that. So, but just you know, mostly caught up. I wouldn't say caught up, but I mean I'm not behind. Let's put it that way. I'm kind of on target to get everything done. Hopefully. Z Hide extension. I don't remember saying anything about a Z Hide extension unless I missed the comment or something there, Greg. They were scrolling through pretty quick a while ago. So if you had something, sorry to be a pain, but I missed it apparently. Z Hide extension. Which we're talking about. But yeah, did you ever find them where we can actually look at the map? Is that it? Is that like you have
Yeah,
to
I'm
share
just
it?
trying to just
Because I'm curious now. I want to see how it works.
I'm
Because I
trying to
did my little
I'm
form, but I never did actually see the
woo,
map. I don't think.
there we go. Cool. Okay, it did load them in. So let me get a link to share. And there's
I have
a
to. I have to save that to my bookmarks where I can start putting it in my live feed there.
all right. This is a via an ugly Google link, but I will bring it out here real quick. There's in the main one, and I'll click over in my channel as well. And so, like I say, this is it doesn't.
Oh, it won't let me click it from here.
Oh, you need me to message you direct?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I can go to one of the videos or something and do it.
So yeah, this doesn't automatically load, so I'll just need to make sure I refresh it every so often. But it's worldwide, so we already have Australia in there, U.S., not in
Okay,
the
there's
U.S.
Greg's comment. Greg's asking the thoughts on adding a Zig extension to the D1 Pro 20 watt. And to be honest with you, just like one of the guys were saying earlier about his laser not being exactly plumb and true to the workspace, the only thing about messing around with Z height is if you get it too long, there's more of a risk. I'm not saying it's going to, but there's a risk that it's going to be out. And also that weight moving around, I don't know that, it wouldn't expedite some wear. I don't know that it would be a noticeable amount depending on how far you know, moved it down. But instead of doing the Z height extension, I would do better with just making leg extensions and doing it that way. I mean, it's a simpler solution, less chance of messing up anything on the machine and the way it works. And it's just, I mean, literally blocks of 2x4s or wooden dowels that fit up inside those legs on the X tool. I mean, there's so many ways to do it easily. So, what do you think, Steve?
I I agree with that, and you also have to remember these stepper motors have to sling around any extra weight you add to it as well. So um, and that's kind of why I designed my enclosure the way I could. It has the honeycomb suspended, and then you slide it out when you need deeper items, put it back in when you don't. That way, I don't need to really deal with extensions unless I'm doing something real crazy tall. But yeah, I'm not a fan of them. With CNCs, you're wanting to get your module as kind of central to your Z-axis bracket as well. And when you start adding extensions, that's where they really start seeing deflection. But yeah, you could run into some trouble with the laser, especially if you're doing any faster engraving type stuff. So
Yeah, it's just so much easier to me just to block the machine up or build you an enclosure with a drop table. I mean, that that works. I've seen a lot of guys actually use the jack stands and just cut a hole in the center of their workspace and have it like a recess under there to where you can let that lab jack up and down if you want to do that. So, uh, uh, Chris is saying I got to zoom in to see my spot. Steve still shows. I can't get to the link to work. You may have to send it to me. Let's see if I can get over
I
there.
sent it to you on
Oh, did you?
send it to you on Facebook. You should have it. But
Let me get into my Facebook.
yeah,
Okay.
I've even had people ask me if my enclosure uh,
Wow.
balances or works with extended legs, and I'm kind of like, well, that's the design, is to not have the extended legs on it.
Oh,
So,
Steve's got a red dot.
well, I put both of us on there as
uh,
hosts, so you're
yeah,
supposed to be orange
yeah. What it
because
is there's a blue one. There's a blue one that
uh
that's
huh.
kind of got me blocked. You
Well,
can
that's
see it. You can see it when you zoom down to a certain point. But yeah, that's what
yeah,
it is. There's a blue one that's right on top of me. Who is that? Let me see.
that's
Somebody
you.
they like right in. No, there's somebody right here in my neighborhood.
That's you. That's the one you submitted after I put in the manual ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got me stuck in the middle of Clanton.
Well,
People gonna
see,
be thinking
I don't.
people gonna be thinking I'm a
I
city slicker.
okay. I've been to Clanton. You're not city slickers. Um, you're nice country folk. Um, and no, I always try to be cautious with, like if someone texts me and says, "Hey, can you send me Jeff's phone number?" And I'm like, "Hey, Jeff, do you want me to send you his phone number?"
Yeah, if you zoom all the way in to where that blue dot is that I submitted, there's a red one that links to my Google profile that's already there.
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
so yeah, I don't worry about that. If somebody wants to show up here and cause trouble, hey, yeah, just make sure you're dedicated. Make sure your affairs are in order. That's all. I mean, I might save this. This is pretty neat. I like that. Good job, Steve. Good job.
yeah. Like I say, I need to remember to refresh the data every so often.
We'll save this to
And
my bookmarks. That way I'll have it. Yeah, we got a bunch of them in there so far. And we got look over yonder across the water. That's got to be Chris. Yeah, he's over there. Woo. Yeah, he's a world away. That's
yeah,
pretty
if
neat.
we start getting ET watching us, we'll have to maybe spin up this up in Google Earth or something instead of maps. But
Brian said you could send give Onefinity my phone number. I wouldn't mind. Brian, I've had people. I've actually had people tell me, "Oh, you got to be careful. People can find you on the internet by this and the other." And this guy sent me a random message from a random Gmail account, and I replied back to him a picture of him cutting his grass in his front yard that I found on Google, and he was like, "Okay, point proven." Because I told him, I said, "Dude, if people want to find you and they know how to use the internet, you can't hide these days. I mean, because it's just you can't. I don't care who you are. You can if you have an internet presence of any kind, you can be found in about 5 minutes using public information. So it's just you know, in my opinion, thinking that you're hidden is a false sense of security. And I know a lot of people use PO boxes and stuff like that, and that's cool. You know, especially if you move around a lot, you might need a PO box. But I've lived in the same spot for almost 20 years, and every felon in this county knows exactly where I live. So, you know, it is what it is.
See, I was hoping you'd scroll in and see that I placed you on the geographic center of Alabama.
Oh, did you?
It's either that or it was Nails by Tara and Mullane. So I figured I'd go with the geographic center of Alabama.
I hear you. I have been accused of being a city slicker a couple times.
By who?
Well, hey, Brian, I actually had a customer come by today, and of course, y'all know I got two 70-pound German Shepherds that work are on my perimeter security team. And he wouldn't get out of the car. He's like, hey, these dogs are looking at me funny. I'm like, you're good. Come on. They know you're supposed to be here. But no, Brian, actually being law enforcement is probably a plus for most folks because I have to maintain a really good image, and I can't get in trouble or get arrested or anything. The real fun is going to begin when I retire, and that's no longer a concern. I can live like the rest of the world, just do what I want to. But yeah, it's. Can you show one of your stove covers? Not seeing an example on your website. Thad, I don't sell them like publicly. As a matter of fact, these two don't even have stain on them yet. But I sell them. I sell them to local customers. I don't ship stuff. Rarely do I ship anything. I stay too busy without it. But if you go to my Facebook page or my web page, www.theclackshack.com, there's a bunch of pictures on there of some of them that I've done. But these aren't even finished. These are straight out the laser, and I got to put together, but they have no stain and no handles on them yet. So. But I usually do 3 or 4 of those a week. So, there's your question. All right, it's getting close to quitting time, guys, too. So if you hadn't already, hit the subscribe, like buttons, share, and all that good stuff.
I'm guessing the Mark II 30 watt is the Lasermatic.
Yes.
Well, if you're looking at cutting and etching acrylic, you're going to be much happier with the CO2.
Well, I think is it the Thunder 50 watt CO2 or is that the RF? Because they have the
it's a different way of producing the CO2 beam.
Yeah, that
but
thing.
It'll still do it. Yeah, both in speed and also in ability to cut, things like clear, cut, and engrave clear. This was done on the P2. Having a CO2 is going to be a big bonus over a diode. You can do some diode or some acrylic with diodes. They're going to be more of your darker, opaque colors. As you get into the lighter colors, it's going to struggle a little bit, and then translucent clear. Good luck.
Yeah.
Most likely not happening on most of them. But
I actually had the opportunity to sit on a sales call the other day for the new Bolt, and they were saying that the resolution of the Bolt using that new RF setup that they're running is actually closer to the resolution of a fiber than it is a standard
Wow.
CO2. She was saying like 10,000 DPI with it, and because they were saying because the 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 guy at CSC Trophy, Tim, the guy that I did. Matter of fact, the gun that I did today was for Tim because he didn't have a way of doing it. He's looking at getting a new machine, and he was kind of on the fence between a fiber, or I mean, the Thunderbolt or the what is it, the 24 Thunder 24, the smaller CO2, and that's what the lady that was at Thunder. I was standing there with him when he did the conference call, and she said that if he does acrylic, that he would like the Bolt better because it has such a higher resolution than the traditional CO2 that they sell because of the mirrors and the way that it works with the RF. It's just she said they're getting a lot higher resolutions out of it, and so that's what he went with because that's a lot of what he does is those like the awards, the acrylic, like really thick acrylic award rewards. So yeah, I was impressed with that. I told her I was like, you could feel free to ship one over and I'll try it out, and let y'all know what I think about it. But she didn't fall for it.
Well, if you don't
Uh,
ask, they can never say yes.
I don't have a P2, Brian, and you knew that. Yeah, Brian, the Thunderbolt, it doesn't have to have a chiller. That was a big selling point for my buddy up at the trophy shop. She said it does not have to have a chiller. It works on a standard power supply, and it has less mirrors and stuff to maintain because of the way that it's kind of the way it's set up. You don't have as much maintenance, and you can change like it comes with several different, like it comes with like an ultra fine focusing the last mirror or last lens, and like he ordered like the standard and then the ultra fine or whatever to go with it, and all you have to do is like take a thumb screw out and boom boom and you're done. Like the whole piece comes off. It was pretty neat the way that the thing's made, but they really like that machine. But luckily, whenever it gets delivered here at the end of January, he's never ran Lightburn, so I've got to go show him how to run the Bolt. So there may actually be a video on the Clack Shack about the Bolt, but it won't be done in the Clack Shack. It'll be done at CNC Trophy. So
That's cool. Yeah, those RF modules are nice. They have a longer lifespan than a CO2 tube as well.
yeah,
They're air cooled. They're much more regulated. So it's I'd love to have a reason to put the money down for one because they do sound like a pretty cool machine.
yeah. I'm saving for I can get a really nice CNC for what that machine sells for. But luckily, since Tim doesn't know how to use it, somebody's got to go train him up on Lightburn. So I'll be the guy getting to set that thing up with Lightburn and do the test grids and all that with it. So I'll try to take you guys along. I told Tim that he's going to have to be in one of my videos so we can get that done. But yeah, I'm
Very
as
cool.
excited that he's getting it as he is. I think. Yep,
Well,
Steve has the better toys, no doubt.
uh,
Except for this, he doesn't have one of those yet. I got him on that one.
I
He guys,
I don't have your cute little CNC there either.
no, but they sent you the big one that I was wanting. Like this is how it went down. I
You'd
had
hurt
the
your back
Jinmitsu,
moving that one.
I had the Jinmitsu 4040, and Jinmitsu emails me and it's like, "Hey, we've got some new CNCs we're releasing. Would you like to try one out?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And I was like, "I really would like to get something with a larger work area." And they sent me a 3030. I've got a 4040 sitting here. So then Steve's like, "Yeah, Jinmitsu sent me the 6050." And it's like, what? Seriously? Did they not see the 4 foot by 4 foot CNC sitting behind you? But anyway, it was a missed opportunity for them because I could have done lots of videos with that thing. But I'm just waiting. I'm waiting on that email from Onefinity or, X Carve or, one of those guys. Maybe, fingers crossed.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Honestly, the 6050 is nice. It does give you a little more working area. Um, but for someone just kind of starting out, I think that 4040 is a much more tolerable price. And by the time you kind of get comfortable with that, I think you get to that position where you're at now. You're going, all right, I need something bigger, not just a little bit bigger, but bigger.
Yeah, I had to send a job out today. I had a lady wanting a 2 foot long sign for their river camp, and I had
Yeah.
to send it to my buddy Tip because he has a Shapeco that's 2 foot by 4, so he can do it. So I sent the job straight over to Tip's hammer. I told Brandy, see that went money just flying out the door. ET, I haven't got any Valentine's stuff yet. This may come as a shocker to you guys, but I'm not a big Valentine kind of guy. I guess I probably should be, but maybe we'll come up with something. Steve has put a file in his Etsy shop that if your wife said that she wanted a romantic night in front of the fireplace, you could buy Steve's file, stick your phone in there, and no matter where you are, you could give her a romantic, fireplace time
You know,
thing.
and depending on your phone, let's see here. You can
I'm wanting to build myself. This is, guys, when Steve showed me this, I told him I was going to build a little jailhouse.
there. We got the sound too.
I'm going to build like a little miniature jailhouse, kind of like what Steve has there, but I'm going to play Steve's videos in the background, and it's going to be like Steve in jail doing woodworking. I think that would be funny. That would be cool. But so Brian, you're saying that I need 30 Onefinity name drops before they'll notice my video? Is that what you're saying? Onefinity? Onefinity? Maybe
Well,
one day. Maybe one day.
ouch. Eddie says he just ran the first test job on the 4040 Saturday night. Went to the emergency room Sunday morning. Those bits are sharp. I hope it wasn't.
Ooh.
Hope it wasn't too bad. Those bits can be sharp.
Eddie, you didn't put your finger down near the spinny part, did you? Don't do that. You do not wipe things off of the spinny part. Oh, yeah, stay away from those. Ow.
Yeah, little dental picks or like a nylon pick or whatnot. Those are nice if you get little clogs in the bits or need to do anything. But I've done that where I've accidentally bumped it. Yep, I know because I've bumped those things. You especially get a clean bit in there. Fresh bit.
Shish kebab sticks are your friend. They're cheap.
Yeah.
That and toothpicks. They also make really good dowels.
They can, yeah.
Eddie, that's Steve's latest file. He did a video on that thing. He tricked me with it. He sent me a picture of it. I'm like, what in the world? I didn't know it had a phone behind it. But it's got he puts his phone back there. He tricked me with it when he first sent me the video. I was like, man, that's cool. How in the world what did he like buy a 5-inch LCD screen and put in there? But it just didn't register. It was a phone.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's going to make one, and he's going to make a fireplace mantle for his TV.
Yeah. Then you just might as well make a normal one. A couple of people have made comments that I got to do like the old console style TV thing next. So you can watch YouTube videos do that. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to play around that design here as well.
Eddie, no, wait a minute. Hold on. Craig's wanting to know, and you may have to answer this one because I have no clue.
What's the largest stepping motor, Chuck? The X-Tool P2 will drive. Without digging into the controller on that, I don't know. Stepping motor, yeah. No, Are you asking about the rotary tool itself, or actually swapping out your stepper motors on that, Craig? I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked too closely to see if they're stock motors and if there's extra room in there, if you're looking to actually change out the steppers and such. But
ET said you should make one for the iPad too.
well, that's been asked. I mean, it could stretch it out. The iPad tends to be a little more square though, so that'd be bigger. You definitely have to go with 1/4 inch at least on that. So
Yep. And Jody says that you've also could sell that thing as a Barbie house accessory.
yeah, oh, people, people can
Hey,
buy
I
them,
made a
use them
little
how they
tie.
see fit.
I actually had to make a little mouse door the other day. I mean, while we're making little small things,
A mouse store.
it's a door. Yeah, a woman actually wanted this to where she could put it on her wall, and
Oh, okay,
they put
gotcha.
little tiny hinges on it, and she had I guess it was like a static cling of a mouse, like a little mouse head, standing behind the door. So when you open the door, you can see the whole mouse.
Oh,
But yeah,
cute.
so anyway, that was another thing that I've made. Of course, my phone holders, those things have been selling like crazy. Or well, I say selling. My wife's giving them away. But anyway, I did sell one. I got one I got to deliver sometime tomorrow. All right, guys, it's hour and 56 minutes, and I'm old and tired. Been working all day, so any last little questions or things that you just got to know? Go ahead and hit them now. Last call. We're gonna have to get out of here.
Well,
Steve's
Brian,
running out of
hopefully they're the
firewood.
double hinge, kind of like on a restaurant door. That way they can just push it open.
I don't question. I just make the file and burn it. I don't question how or why. I just build it and burn it. But yeah, it's so it's been a year. That's pretty cool. That's 52. I had to look back. That's 52 weeklies. I don't think we've missed one either. One of us has been here every time.
Oh, okay. I was in the chat that one too.
That's what I said. I think we've had one every Sunday. I don't think we've actually like had one we
No,
canceled or anything.
yeah, no. I think we've gone
That's pretty
52
good.
weeks. So, but
That's pretty awesome. And we've gone
yeah,
from like 4 people watching to, hey, we're at 120 now. Looks like total. So that's good. It's growing. We need it to continue to grow because as I retire, guys, I'm going to need something to keep me busy.
yes. Well, winter may arrive up here. I don't know. There's no snow on the ground up here right now. So, um,
Mm-mm-mm.
but normally in winter I need something to do. So,
Brian Clyde's down there in the comment section. I guess he finally got here. He said he was going to come in here earlier,
well,
but
all right.
anyway. All right. Well, if you hadn't, guys, go check out the links to that map. Me and Steve will try to get that thing out there a little bit more public. We can start getting people to put the little push pins on the map. I think that's a pretty cool thing, especially since we can see like Chris. Because I thought about putting me one on the wall over here, but then you guys got to send it to me, and I got to put a push pin, and I can't cut a map big enough for y'all to see it across the room over there and include Australia, Japan, what is the other places? Sweden, Newfoundland, all these other places that people are from that watch the show. So I think the digital map is the way to go. Besides that, we are kind of a little more advanced than paper. But anyway, but Clyde said he's been busy over there. He had to phone a friend earlier because he gets stumped every now and then. I had to help him out. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you. And like I said, we could sit here all night, but let's face it, I would fall asleep because I'm already yawning.
Yep. So, yeah, I'll get the map information out into the Facebook group. We already have, it looks like about 49 or 50 entries on there, so that's really cool. And if you haven't followed either of us on Facebook or Instagram, Clack's been streaming some on Twitch as well. I know Pedro was just mentioning that. I don't know if you've got that going tonight or not, but
Yep.
all that helps out. Appreciate everybody just checking out the videos, hitting the dropping a comment on the video, even if it's just like, hey, this is cool. All that's it feels good for us, but it also helps the whole YouTube, Facebook algorithm saying, okay, people are paying attention to this, so we'll share it with more. So appreciate all the support that way. Hope you're all getting your projects done for the holidays. I hope everybody doesn't get too behind if you're doing business, that you got some orders coming in, but you get them done, and eventually you'll get a chance to rest. But we'll keep going through. We'll be hitting these through the holidays as well. I got to keep that streak going.
Yeah. Try to hit that stretch goal. Yeah, but I am now actually streaming Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and I want to say, was it X also? Should be. Well, they used to call it
X.
Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's Pedro apparently is actually on Twitch now. I just saw a comment pop up from Twitch. So
Very
cool.
nice. Very nice.
But yeah, I usually have one person watch on Twitch. I don't think that's where the bulk of our audience is, but I figured, what the heck, it's just one more little checkbox. So see what it does. There may be a need for it on Twitch. I may find that's where all the laser people that don't know they're laser people live. We'll see. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, have a good evening, and I hope everybody stays safe and has fun. Like I said, I know I've got a couple of videos coming out. I'm going to try to do one on the engraved tray, as well as I am planning on getting up to the sawmill to show you guys how I get these nice straight grain oak boards that Steve doesn't like. But you can take those pieces of, because see, to know, Steve, this was a tree that I rescued from the dump and is now a very useful piece of wooden skillet. Because that's basically what it is a wooden skillet.
Well, I mean, red oak and that size, I think, you missed another one of Brandy's birthdays, and you're going to find out just how solid that thing is.
I actually did give her and my oldest daughter a paddling with it earlier. It does work as a paddle as well. So, but yeah, it's going to, like I said, this was just my test. And like I said, because my CNC is kind of small, I didn't want to waste all day on it. So I did this one, but I'm going to try to do a little bit bigger ones and maybe even throw some laser engraving on there and all that cool stuff. But for right now, this is the prototype. So we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
Mark, it's not bad when you mill it. I mean, it is a little pungent, but it's not terrible. I've been in the tree business a long time. It's not as bad as water oak when it's had water standing in it. So, but anyway, guys, be safe and have a good day.
We'll see you.
Got to say there, Steve.
Bye.
Later.